Hello everyone, welcome back to Mad About Cards and Crafts. Today I am playing with a digital stamp set from the Not Too Shabby Shop. This is the Farmer's Market. I'll be using that sunflower. I did enlarge the sunflower. I just wanted the flower piece and not the sack. And I am going to be using these Par Koo markers. It's a 36 set. They are alcohol-based permanent markers that work on plastic, stone, wood, metal, and glass. I was sent these, full disclosure, and I was asked if I wanted to try them out, and I said absolutely yes, and I'm excited that I did because this is a positive review. So these markers are about $12 for that pack, $3 a piece, which I think is a great price point. And those are all of the colors, a nice variety of colors that you get in the pack. You get some earth tones, some pinks, some reds, some blues, greens, everything in the rainbow. I am going to start by coloring my first image with an orange, a yellow, and kind of a peach color. Now, the tips, I will show you quickly that the tip is kind of like a Sharpie tip, very similar to a Sharpie, and it is very pliable, I should say. It's not super stiff, which I like. I will say that I decided to try flicking. That is one of the things that I can't do with my Spectrum Noirs, and I really couldn't do that with these either. I'm able to disguise that flicking and cover it up. So I am just going to use those markers in different ways to get this portion covered up, and then I will come in and I will show you the method that I prefer. So I preferred to lay my lightest color down, which is that mustard color. Then I brought in my darkest, actually I brought in the peach, but I will end up just going from light to dark and add the depth with the dark, and then I'll go over the entire image with my mid-tone, which is the peach. And I think that I get a really nice depth with these. The color is super vibrant and beautiful. I was super impressed with the way that they blended. Look at how beautifully that these are blending. I'm only going to color half of this particular sunflower, and then I'll color the other half of the one on the right. I did I printed these out using my Canon printer onto a piece of Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and I built the card basically in my Silhouette Cameo. So I went into my Cameo, I imported the image, I drew out a rectangle that was 4x9, I filled it, and I filled it with the sentiment, which also comes with that Farmer's Market set. That is a fantastic set, a fantastic, very versatile digital set. I would highly recommend it. As you can see, I took that little flower and got this beautiful, crisp, clear sunflower, which I was super excited how beautiful that this turned out. I am going to color the centers with the same mustard color, and then I'm going to bring in some browns, a dark brown and a mid brown, and I'm going to do a little bit of stippling in the center. For the stem, I will color them with a kind of like an olive green will be my darkest color, and then I will bring in more of I guess a garden green, you could say. If I had to say anything negative about these markers, one was I wasn't able to really flick, but I am going to try playing with it a little bit more. I'll come back with a second full review. I'm going to try them on different cardstocks and different surfaces. As you can see, the green is blending just as beautifully as the orange tones that I used. But the one thing that I would say is I would recommend that they put colors on the pens. For creators like me who list everything that they use, for me to say that I used a pink and I used a red and I used a magenta, I would prefer to either have a numbering system on these or to have the name of the color written on them. That would be the one point that I would, or the one suggestion that I would make. As you can see, I'm getting another beautiful blend. I used a lighter pink, then I come in with my magenta, and then I will bring in, I'm looking at this. Actually, I do bring in my red, and then I bring in my magenta, and I go back over it with the red again. This time I decided to go over the entire surface with the light color. So I go light, medium, dark, medium, and then I go over the entire thing with my light. Which is the pink. And look at the beautiful blend that I got. So are these a win? Absolutely, these are a win. Are they Copic markers? No. I will say that they are not Copic markers. I don't know what the light fastness is for these, but here is what I would say. Number one, I would use them again on my cards. I want to try them on smaller images to see. That's one of the things that I struggle with my Spectrum Noirs, is not having that same nice tip that you have on the Copic markers. So I do want to try them on a smaller image. Two, larger images, you're not wasting a bunch of your very expensive Copic ink, and you are able to get a beautiful blend. I absolutely love that. So I would definitely use these again on a card. I would recommend them for anybody who wants to practice their blending, or just their coloring in general, trying different color combinations. I think that this would be a wonderful way to practice, and a less expensive way than using up your Copic marker ink. But, in general, right now, my first impression, as I said, is I absolutely love these. I will color the stem on this one a very vibrant green, and I absolutely love it. So I'll use the two colors that I started with on that sunflower, but then I decide to bring in a little bit of the teal, and I was really happy with the way that it turned out. So through the magic of editing, there you go. That is fully colored. I am going to bring in, sorry, I'm a little bit out of frame there. I'm going to bring in the teal and the olive green, and I'll do my stippling, and then I will start working on my background. So I decided that I wanted to do a little stenciling. I did cut a mask. The way that I cut my masks, or the way that I create my masks, is I typically will use copy paper, and I will stamp my image. Then I will cut the image out, and I'll take my Zig two-way glue pen, and I will add that to the back of that cut out image. Then I will let it fully dry. So a lot of times the Zig will come out blue. I let it dry for a little bit. I didn't let these ones dry long enough, honestly, because you're going to see that one of the leaves, it sticks a little bit. I'm able to get all of the paper off, but I would highly recommend walking away, which is, I got a little impatient. I didn't do that. I would recommend walking away, letting it dry, and then it'll be tacky on the back. And once it's tacky, you can use it. So I'm going to start with this magenta flower, and I'm going to start with some aged mahogany. I'll put my stencils down, and I will bring in one of my blending brushes, and I am going to put the color down around my sunflower once I get these masks on. And once I do that, I will come back in with a Heidi Swap polka dot stencil, and I will do tone on tone stenciling. So here's where I'm adding that aged mahogany. And that's where I'm trying to get just a little bit of the glue that was left from me being so incredibly impatient. And here's where I come in with the stencil. So a little tone on tone. It shifted a little bit, but I don't mind. And I am going to do the same thing to the bottom half of my card. And once I do this, I will realize that I want a little bit more color. So I will come in with the Victorian Velvet and a blender brush, and I will add some more color to this. And I was super happy with this color combination, especially with the color of my flowers. Then I'm going to do something very similar to the sunflower on the left. So here's where I bring in that Victorian Velvet. All of the products that I have used will be listed in the description box below, including the pens that I used for this project. I do have affiliate links associated with some of my products, and just so that you know, when you do click on an affiliate link, it is at no extra cost to you that I receive a very small commission. Now you see that I didn't get my mask super close in one of those in some of those spots, and that's okay. As you've been watching my videos, I will come back in with my Dove blender pen and I will fill in those places where I did not cut the mask close enough, or I didn't lay it down, whichever one it was. Here's where this sticks. Right here. I thought it was earlier, but no, it was here. And so I'm going to take my Spellbinders tool-in-one. I'll take a little bit of this Tombow Mono, and it comes up after a little bit of work. I don't ruin it. I was so worried that this was going to be ruined because I was so happy with the way that the coloring turned out. Here's where I take that aged mahogany, and just so you know, that will dry back. A lot of that shadowing will dry back. So, you know, as I've said multiple times, this is a great way to be able to fix those little areas when you're doing some masking. And apparently I like masking now because I've been doing it so frequently. Then I will move over to my next project, filling in just a couple of spots that I missed. And for the second one, I am going to be using Ripe Persimmon is going to be my first color, and then I will come in with Carved Pumpkin. Oh, I forgot. I did need to use my Micron pen and go over the lettering from the Love You bunches, because that Distress Oxide, it oxidized some of the lines. So even in the flowers, I'm going to fill that in, and all you need is a little Micron pen, and that will, it matches the ink in my printer, and that will, you know, cover up that oxidation that may have got on some of your ink. Can you hear my dogs in the background? Oh my goodness. It's hard to get anything done around here because they just love to play. It's swim season, so they jump in and out of the pool. They wrestle with each other in the backyard. So I did do those two colors, and then now I'm coming in with that Imagine Crafts or some Imagine Crafts spray in Frost. I will just put my stencil down and spray through that. Then I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the Carved Pumpkin, no, the Ripe Persimmon, sorry. I'll take the Ripe Persimmon and I will fill in those white spots that are around the leaves and also around the petals. And then that will pretty much finish up my card, other than these splatters with some white gouache. Look at the big drop that I ended up getting. I don't know how people flick directly off the block. Whenever I try to, I get a big blob like that. I will do the same thing to this one, and then I will back both of my panels. This has been cut down to 3 3/4 by 3.5 by 8.5, and then I backed it with a piece of orange and black cardstock that was 1/8 of an inch larger. My final card base is 4 by 9, and that will be my card today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review, and until next time, have a fabulous day.